project is based on the book Rayuela by Argentinian writer Julio Cortazar. This book is one of my favorite books and has been a great source of inspiration for many, many years now. There were a few things about the book that made it attractive in terms of adapting it into a musical setting. The first thing is, of course, the fact that the book takes place both in Paris and Latin America, Buenos Aires, Argentina in this case, which already sort of directly related to Laurent and myself. We been very good friends for many, many years now. For a long time, we've been talking about the possibility of putting a recording project together where we could, sort of work as a unit. Working on this book sort of seemed like a very unique situation, and it seemed like it just presented the perfect opportunity for collaboration.
Rayuela is a very special project for several reasons. One of them being the instrumentation, which is alto, played by Miguel, piano, played by myself, but also cello or trombone, both instruments masterfully played by Dana Leong, and drums and tablas that are played by the amazing Dan Weiss.
Another thing is how Rayuela, how this book sort of introduced this very groundbreaking idea of form through literature, where you would read most books sort of from beginning to end, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, etc. This book is not necessarily written that way. Of course, you could read it like a regular book, but Cortazar also gave the reader the option to go a different way. He also gives the reader this roadmap which he created, where you go, for example, chapter 2, chapter 116, chapter 3, then chapter 84, then chapter 4, and then so on and so forth, sort of skipping through the book like a hopscotch, and also giving the reader the opportunity to decide if he wanted to read it one of those two ways, or he wanted to make up his own roadmap. In that case, Cortazar always talked about, writing this book with the idea of engaging and sort of creating the active reader, where instead of being a reader who would just read the book as it was given to him, the reader would be able to make his own decisions in terms of where he wanted to go, what roads he wanted to take. And actually, when you read this book, depending on how you read it and which road you decide to take, the whole story is different and the whole ending is different. And Laurent and I have always had this really long conversations about form through music, and sort of trying to expand on that and trying to explore different ways of dealing with form. This idea that the book presented on form was very, very influential when it came for us to write the music, the compositions that take part of the recording.
referring to forms, we're talking about the way the song is constructed and the way it unfolds, which part comes after which one, and how the improvisation is being set with all the written parts. And that's something with Miguel that is really, he pushes this thing very far out. I must say I've been working on that too, and I believe we've managed to create some really unique and different forms on this album. Because of the depth of the book's characters, we've written songs that really have a unique path and that unfolds in a very different ways from a song to another, which is another thing that I think make this album and the band quite special.
Another thing that made this book very attractive to work on was Cortazar's deep admiration for music, especially jazz music. You could find references throughout Rayuela, throughout the book, to specific jazz recordings and specific jazz artists, people we admired greatly, people like Charlie Parker, Duke Ellington, Sidney Bechet, Louis Armstrong. You know, he admired them and wrote about them extensively throughout his work. So in this case, this made the connection between literature and music a lot more obvious, and made the whole idea of working on this project a lot easier and a lot more fun.
Toco tu boca, con un dedo toco el borde de tu boca, voy dibujándola como si saliera de mi mano, como si por primera vez tu boca se entreabriera, y me basta cerrar los ojos para deshacerlo todo y recomenzar. Hago nacer cada vez la boca que deseo, la boca que mi mano elige y te dibuja en la cara, una boca elegida entre todas, con soberana libertad elegida por mí para dibujarla con mi mano en tu cara.